Let's talk about Richard Marles. What about this garbage now that he wants 24/7 security? Apparently the application was only made this week and apparently was after a confrontation when a reporter who's been trying to get questions out of his office but doesn't get them answered, bailed him up when he was in the middle of a jog. Now, again, Michael, if there are legitimate threats towards him, people deserve 24/7 protection. When you're the Defence Minister, I understand the complexities when literally we're a country as part of the West in constant state of war and people who want to do you harm. But, for this bloke to start to say, I need 24/7 security because a reporter came and asked me a question, please.
Yeah. Well, mate, many years ago, I hope he doesn't mind me using his quote, I met the great Peter Barron, who was a famous New South Wales Labor Party advisor. And he once said to me, he said, I knew a politician had lost the plot the first time they saluted an honour guard, and the honour guard saluted them. He said, I could tell then they'd lost the plot because they thought it was about them, not the office they held. And I'm disappointed in Richard Marles because I think Richard's one of the better ministers in the government, and he's done well in his portfolio. But clearly the honour guard syndrome's got to Richard, and to spend over $3 million in a year on private VIP flights, goodness sake. I mean, no wonder Bronwyn Bishop would have every reason to be furious with the way she was treated. You know, Richard went from the Labor Party conference to the soccer back to the Labor Party conference.
Correct.
That's no different. That's no different to what Bronwyn did. And she got pilloried for it. And Richard, what, $3 million? Please. That's outrageous.
Well, absolutely. But also, you know, James, 2,000 questions on notice to the Senate, which obviously means during question time or anything else, they say, look, I'm sorry, I don't have the detail now, I'll get back to you. 2,000 questions have not been answered, and they haven't even been the government for, well, much longer than a year. The best part of, 15, 16 months is what they are right now. Yep. But then this Richard Marles thing, I know that the media thinks no one cares, no one notices. This is the sort of stuff that I will get asked about on a weekend. I guarantee people who don't even watch the show will ask me about Richard Marles and the private planes.
Yeah. Look, firstly, Richard, if you're wanting someone to carry your golf clubs to the jet, I can tell you the AFP don't carry your bags, so that's the whole reason for this. Think again. I understand Sam Maiden can be a scary character at times, but honestly, AFP for this, they're more hassle than what they're worth, the AFP. Pauline Hanson has had AFP from time to time. You've got to give them schedules in advance. If you don't stick to that schedule, it becomes a problem. I'm telling you, it's more hassle than what it's worth. And people need to know who you are, Richard, for them to want to attack you. They don't quite understand who you are out there in the public. But the other thing too is, just when you come to those questions on notice, there's a reason why there's so many on notice, Paul, because they don't answer anything at question time.
Correct.
If you watch question time in the Senate and a question is directed to Murray Watt or Don Farrell or any of the ministers, you don't get a response. They just give you a polywaffle and nothing gets resolved in that place. So that is why there are so many questions on notice. They have an obligation to respond to those within a 1 month, basically. And if they don't do it, there are procedures in which the coalition should start playing games. Labor were good at playing games in the last term of Parliament. They shut down that Parliament at every which opportunity they had. The coalition, One Nation, the crossbench, we all need to start doing the same thing. If you're not going to answer questions, we will hold you to account by shutting down the Parliament and demanding answers with that process.